Alright, so the time has come. The Suburban's radio finally crapped out, about last week sometime. All channels, no music being played. It still pulls up, still does what it looks like it's supposed to be doing, but it simply has no sound coming anywhere. And I'm pretty sure it's the deck, because the deck has been fritzing out over the last 18 months at different times. And it might start working today, tomorrow, next week, next month, who knows, but I'm not playing that game. So I went and sourced this. Now this Bluetooth enabled digital media receiver only, no CDs, nothing like that. You can get a better view of it on 5 Star Car Audio, and they'll go and do a full review of it. And it's the MVH S501BS. BS doesn't stand for what you think it does, but it's basically Android or iPhone compatible. It'll pair to your phone over Bluetooth if you want to do it that way. I want a hard line in for my iPod. My only complaint is, and this is something all of them are doing, there is no USB connection on the back side of the radio. Now I was thinking about my S10. I originally did all of that one, all of its stereo system through Crutchfield, because I did that when I was overseas in Germany. My 93 Suburban, I did it off of Walmart, because Pioneer radio, Pioneer speakers, all that kind of stuff. Used an old Rockford Fosgate amp I still had, and that's how I did that system. And then for this Suburban, the 98 Suburban, I've done most of it off of Amazon, but I'm kind of getting away from that again. And there's a pretty good reason. So I've gone back to Crutchfield. And the cool part is this, that I order this radio at about the same price, a couple bucks off, plus or minus whatever, from what it would be on Amazon, but this simple receiver, and they throw everything in for free. A Metro installation kit, a Metro wiring kits, they throw all of it in for free. And then they send you these instructions, which if you've never done a radio before, this would be very, very helpful if this is your first time ever doing one. Because there it is right there. They give you everything you need in this PDF file. And also, second page gives you, basics how to crimp. I'd never used the crimp caps. I use inline ones. Other guys would solder and heat shrink, but I use the inline crimps with heat shrink capability. But yeah, it comes with that sheet. And that's half the reason that I'm actually doing it inside at my desk instead of out in the garage. The other half of the reason, it's snowing today and it's cold out, so when I'm ready, when I've got all this done up, I'll go out to the truck and put it in the truck. But this is one thing that I'm not liking either, is this radio, instead of coming with a booklet, comes with a map sheet. I don't really like that. That's not something I appreciate from Pioneer. I know it's a bottom of the line radio. It doesn't cost that much. It's freaking under $100 head unit. But still, really, you can't give me a real freaking booklet? And I'm looking at all the controls and stuff that it's detailing through, and I'm thinking it probably has the same exact functions of my old head unit, so I'll keep that head unit's booklet around. But this simple map sheet has English, French, and Spanish. Choose your language, whichever you want. And it does give the basics of what to do and how to do it. But this part here, yeah, you could go color for color, but the cool part is, they'll give you notes about specific GM vehicles. If you actually had an 85 to 87 Somerset or an 86 to 89 Skylark, you'd have to do different stuff. And if you just did color to color, you wouldn't know that. But for a basic GMT 400 truck, you can pretty much go color to color. For this, radio comes with, these are funny to me, I never really use these little remotes, but it comes with that. It comes with your basic screws to attach the harness to the radio. So this was all with the radio. But all you need for this portion of the install is just a set of crimpers and a set of strippers, and you're good to go. My little electrical box is in here, but all I'm really after is those reds. So yeah, I'm going to get down to it. One other final comment, kind of a complaint really, and it's always been this way on most radios. See, this matches factory gauge, but then the radios come with this stuff that's like a couple steps below. What is that, frickin' 18 gauge versus what the factory's giving you, some 16 gauge? I never liked that whole step down, but it never really matters, it seems to me, when I do these installs, because it still plays the radio like it should. You still get enough power coming out of the radio and into the factory harness. seems to work just fine. So let's get to it. Alright, so there we go. Got it all together. The only one I'm leaving out is this blue wire, because this being a GM adapter that covers probably 20 years worth of every GM made in the 80s and 90s, I think this would only attach to those that have an actual antenna, power antenna. So you turn the radio on and it freaking puts the antenna up. I think that's what that means. I don't believe that has any function in a GMT 400 truck. And so I don't know, I'm going to take a look at the factory harness before I decide whether or not to cap that off and just plain line this in with my amplifier's remote turn-on wire. So I think that's what that's about, if I remember right. Yeah, and the Crutchfield deal, it'll give you some lines there about if you've got OnStar, and OnStar will have a different separate plug. They'll tell you what to do with that and where to tap that in at. Obviously, I don't have OnStar in this. It's just a basic LT. Shoot, not even an LT, it's an LS Chevy Suburban, so I don't have that fancy stuff. Now I'm going to take this out in the garage. I'm going to fire up the heat gun, and I'm going to shrink all of these at once with the heat gun. It should be a lot faster. Last time I was doing the wiring of the lights and stuff, I think I messed up my heat gun, but I think it'll still work enough for me to do this. Just thinking about that. I hope it still works, doesn't blow up my hands. But yeah, I'm going to heat shrink all of that stuff, and then I'm going to start tearing apart the dash and get it ready to go. Now you hit them up with a heat gun. You gotta be careful because a lot of times the glue wants to stick together, so kind of separate them on out, make sure they're not, see that, sticking together. And there is a batch of these I got. You can see that on camera. There's a batch of these where it actually penetrates the outer shell, but as near as I can tell, the glue filled that in, so it's not bare metal, but I just don't like that batch. I wish I knew which ones they were, because the regular ones, no problem. The crimpers don't penetrate it, and they're just fine. I think that one could have used a little bit more heat. I might try it in a second. That one too. What are you doing, baby? Yeah, quit pressing buttons. Yeah, you're pressing buttons. Yeah. I think I might go get a lighter and hit some of these, because I don't want to hit these wires, hitting them all at once with heat. It's a nice fast way to go about it, but maybe a lighter for a little more precision there and there, and just to make sure. Yeah, that one too, the constant hot. Yeah, I'm gonna go get a lighter, get all this tightened up, and I'll be ready to tear out that dash, tear out the old deck. And I'm tempted to take that old deck over to the, right around the corner here is Innovative Audio. Take it to them, have him bench test it, and see if that thing is just shot, or if there's something that can be done for it. If something can be done for it, it's going into my S10, because the S10 hasn't had a radio forever. And that might be more trouble than it's worth, because these decks are 90 bucks. So I don't know, I might just toss it. Might just toss it and just next paycheck order another one of these. So yeah, let me get to it. Alright, so I just realized I started getting into this, but drop your steering wheel back. I put my seat all the way back. Drop the steering wheel down. Put the gear shift down in first gear, which means you'll turn it on a little bit. I set my parking brake to make sure it doesn't move. And then this just pulls off and away. And there's clips on it. And boom. Okay. I usually hit that too. Let you pull that off and away. I got to undo all my switch work I've got in here. Horrible lighting here. Sorry about that. But yeah, you just pull this off, and I got to see why that came loose. I'm going to see if I can put that back on. I don't know, something broke. But, okay. So you get it down to this point, and that way you can just pull the tabs out on the sides that pull that out. I got too many hands in play right now. I can't show you, but it's a tab right there. And a tab right there. And those two tabs, you push those down and the whole unit comes out. And there you go, it's out. Now I just need to disconnect everything. I'm leaving it hanging there for a minute. So this USB's what's missing on the new radio. It doesn't have that. There's your mic input. I don't use that. There's an aux input on the back of this one. The new one doesn't have, but it does have all of the RCA inputs that I need and the antenna adapter. So yeah, let's get these switched out. Alright, old versus new. A couple things that are different. I mean, the old one, I liked this little deal for tracks forward and backwards. You could hit it either side of that to get your function. This one's back to new buttons. The old one, the buttons were a little more lit. These are probably still backlit, but they're different. Old one did not have a USB and an aux on the front. New one has USB and aux on the front. Phone button on that side, phone button on this side. I mean, all the functions seem to be the same. There you go with, yeah, that is a button, that is a button. Okay, same as those for search and for all your menu stuff. I'm looking, yeah, about the same, but you flip them over. Alright, on the back side, first thing you notice is a bigger heatsink versus that smaller heatsink on the old one. That may be, it makes me curious, is that why this old one failed? Because the heatsink's not big enough? Something in there burnt up? I don't know. Differences on the back are minor. They're mostly placement. Old one had the microphone jack and all that on this side, a USB port, no USB, S video cable. I wonder what that's for. I don't know if you want to use that to your amp, maybe? You know, the RCA cable's here, RCA cable's here. Same thing, subwoofer front, rear. Subwoofer front, rear. It's the same stuff, so probably same parts even. Antennas on this side, antennas on this side. There's an aux on the back, USB on the back. None of that on the back of this one. But what I really want these radios for is that chassis height. And that chassis height is a nice shallow height that you don't need all that extra depth if you don't have a CD player. And that'll come into play when I do the S10. Don't know if this unit's even going to be worth. Oh, it's worth it. I might just go buy a whole nother one. Yes, you hear a truck. There's a truck out there. It's a snowplow. Yeah, snowplow. Fix your hat, keep you warm, keep coloring, baby. So yeah, let's get this in, and let's see if it doesn't fix my problem with my truck. Boy, am I going to be upset, but I'm hoping that's the issue, that it'll fix it and I'll have music in all my speakers again. So here we go. So here's an aesthetic difference. This one doesn't fill the space as much, but for what I want, I don't know if I'm going to care about that, but I'm seeing more gap with this radio than I did with that one. But again, I don't know that I really care. Funny thing I was thinking about, Pioneer to Pioneer, I probably didn't need to do that wiring harness, but oh well, it's done. Because I'm probably just going to use the same wiring harness that's already in there from this Pioneer. It'll light up this Pioneer just fine if everything's still wired correctly. And we'll see. We'll see if it works the way I want it to. Funny thing is this one does Sirius XM. Don't see that this one did. So if this one's got Sirius on it, it came with a 30-day free trial of Pandora, and I've never used Pandora. Maybe I'll check into that. I don't know. You hear the truck again. It's a snowplow. Yeah, snowplow. That's what's going on. Alright, so I'm going to get this in. So all I got to do, that's set in. This was set at a nice depth. I just got to bend some tabs up in the back to hold it in place. And should be good to go. Okay, so yeah, this harness I clipped all that goes into the factory. I clipped the front speakers, capped them over here, and taped them to keep those from ever hitting anything. Because I have all the front speakers running just on the sub. And then that includes the ones in these back doors here. So the only thing doing rears should be those four back there. But yeah, so I'm definitely staying with this harness. It still seems like it's where I want it to be, even though, man, have I hit it up a couple of times. Yeah, but it's all still sealed. It's still in good shape. So let's see. Okay, there we go. It's powering up, and it's still in that stupid demo mode. It says language English. That's good. Definitely a smaller screen on this one. But it's one of the few out there with a short chassis still. So let's see, display. still works the same way, because now it's cycling through all the different colors you can do. Obviously I want mine on blue. You climbing up, baby? You're climbing? You be careful, sweetheart. Yeah, you are my little climber. Don't fall. You climbed, yes. And you look at that, you don't got much space. There's a whole back there. If I was going to do a double din, there's a lot of trimming of the plastic I'd have to do. Decided not to do a double din. So yeah, this shorter chassis depth makes it easier to get all of that RCA cable and everything in there. Alright, so there it is. It's in. Now let's turn it back on. There we go. Powering up. Okay, hang on. Okay, so let's see. Where was... Yeah, it's blue now. But it's changing to white, huh? I want to stop that. Remember display. Let's hit this. 12:03. No, I don't know. What time is it? I don't have a clock with me. I have my phone. Let's see. Yes, it turned to pink, baby. Oh, my little helper. 11:41. So 11. Button. Boom, 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 boom. Keep going, keep going. Golly, come on now. Freaking slow. Well, you know what? Let's go the other way. It's not very fast when it rotates. Don't turn my buttons, baby. I know, sweetheart. 41. Speaker mode, standard, yeah. But yes, okay, so 11:41 a.m. There we go. That's what I wanted. Display. Whoa. That turns the display on and off. That's weird. Okay. So menu. Initial. Rear speaker full. Rear speakers. Yeah, okay. System update. Okay, I don't care about system info. I don't care update. This is not working. Yeah, it's not working the way I'm used to this working on the old radio. No, right now it's blue, baby. Yeah, now it's pink, baby. Oh goodness, this is. I'm gonna have to look through the page and look through it all because it's not working the same way my old one did. But I'm gonna get it put back together. I'll get all this set up. Get it the colors I want. Yes, that's Daddy's phone. Yes, now it's orange. So you're seeing a good range of colors this thing has, almost infinite it seems. What I want to do. Source, radio, let's go USB iPod. There we go. Oh my goodness. That's the speakers way back there. Where are my amp speakers? So the display's about the same. But yeah. Okay, that's a whole new concern, because why isn't my subwoofer? Oh, stupid. Man, I'm stupid. Okay, I gotta pull this back out, because I did not connect. My remote turn-on's not connected to this. I don't know, I gotta look at that. That's because it's not turning on the amp, it's gotta be that. So, I'm gonna pull it out and look at it. Oh. Alright, get back in a second. Alright, so that's not it. Here's the trace wire right there, and it goes to that blue wire. That's my remote turn-on wire, so that's connected. So what the crap? Man, I love having to trouble things, but this does prove the point that the old radio burned out and wasn't playing rear speakers anymore. But now my amp isn't turning on, so I'm gonna have to go trace that down. It might be a setting within the radio, so I'm gonna put it back together. I know I'm connected there. I just double checked that, so I know I'm there. I bet I turn on the subwoofer, it goes. So I have to play with the new settings. This menu doesn't work the way the old one did. But I'm going to put this back together and we'll see what we can do. Alright, there we go. It's back in. Nice and neat. Now I just got to carefully do up all my switches for all my stuff. These ones on the bottom, I should have made their leads about as long as the ones up top. And that was... Someday I might just go ahead and splice in some more wires and make that longer, but right now, you shutting it, baby? Shut it. Good girl. Alright, everything's in. Let's get this back together, and then we'll figure out why the amp isn't turning on. I'm hoping it's just a setting within the radio. I just got to turn the subwoofer on. So this is exactly what I don't like and don't want. I don't want a cord hanging out my front, down here in the dash. I liked it from the back. So why the crap did that stupid thing have to give up? That seems crooked in there. Did I mess up on that one? I don't know. I'm going to leave it. I'm not pulling it back apart. That's such a pain in the butt. If... Got a pretty good delay on turn on. Look at that. So I hit the key in there, and then now it's finally coming on. But as long as it turns on and it runs the music, which it does seem to do. This whole kit's a little sloppier than I'd like. Yeah, so it runs back there. I obviously got to set the EQ. That seems pretty high. Got to figure out how to turn the subwoofer back on. Or not subwoofer, but the amplifier. Little girl, stop. It was pink. Now it's yellow. Now it's blue. Golly. Thumbs up if you got kids that get in the way of when you're trying to do stuff, because you can't just leave them in the house on themselves, by themselves. She's got to be out here with me, which means she's going to learn to do this stuff young. She's not going to be a dummy of a girl who can't fix her own car. She'll know how to do radios. Yes, baby. Yes, baby. Yes, baby. She'll know how to fix all her stuff, and I'm starting her at this age, and so, yeah. She'll be just as good as her brothers. There you go, baby. It was pink. Alright, I'm going to get back to it. Alright, so I'm playing around with this. I'm still not figuring out why it's not turning on my amp. Fuse isn't blown. Everything seems good. Man, I wish I hadn't broken my multimeter, because I'd love to see if there's actually signal going through that turn-on wire. There should be. I can't find the setting in here that'll get me the rear speakers working. And there's another function that this radio doesn't have that my old one did that may really piss me off. I don't like radios like this that I cannot control my music from my iPod directly. And I think this is one of those. Kind of pisses me off. I don't know. I haven't... And again, since this thing comes with just a freaking map sheet versus a full book the other one came with, the other one actually seems to have been a much better radio on a lot of different levels. But flipping around with the settings, yeah, once I got past the factory display settings, it all works and operates just like the old one did. It's the same Pioneer OS. And I cannot find anywhere that actually turns on my amp. So I don't know what my issue is. Man, I hate to have to call frickin' Defeat on this one and take this over to the guys at Innovative Audio and pay them to troubleshoot it, but I'm about there. Everything I know, I don't know where to find it. Any which way, it's installed. It's nominally working, it's just not turning on my amplifier, and thereby all of these door speakers are not operating. So I don't know. I don't understand what... You know, old radio was operating the amp, but not the actual factory channels. The only factory channels, obviously those ones in the back. Now I've got the reverse. It's not operating the freaking amp, but it's operating the factory channels. So, confusing. Really, really confusing. Stupidly. So I don't know. I may actually take it over to that shop sometime. Don't know when. I got too much going on. I don't know when I'll be able to do that. But at least old radio crapped out. At least I've got some semblance of sound for the road trip I got to take on Sunday. That was my biggest deal. I'm not taking a 12-hour road trip without some sort of music in the truck, and I'm not someone who likes to drive with earbuds in. That just gets irritating after a while. Yeah, earbuds in, I can do that for a run, but I don't like doing that long term. Alright, that's probably where I'm going to end this one. Maybe next week I can drop by the boys at Innovative and figure out, okay, what is the major malfunction here, because I don't get it. I really don't. And those guys, yeah, I don't know. Do as much as I can myself, and usually it works out for me, but when you get to a roadblock like this, I don't know. I might call Crutchfield up. I might ask them what the crap. Maybe they know. Maybe they can help. I don't know. But, yeah. This is where I'm going to end this video. Hope this did you some help. If you're a first-time radio installer in a GMT 400, that's kind of the process you're going to go through to get it done. Obviously mine is a little bit more advanced because I'm only running the factory rear speakers for those rear doors. And I'm trying to run all the front doors, the passenger doors, not the cargo doors, but the passenger doors. I'm trying to run all of those off the amplifier. So, we'll see. Maybe I'll get it figured out in a day or two. But you come this far, thanks for watching. Hope it did you some help, and we'll catch you in the next one.